Good morning, friends. I hope you have all had an absolutely lovely day so far, wherever you are in your day. Seeing a lot of friends in the chat, Raccoon King, I hope your day has absolutely been wonderful so far. I suppose this would be afternoon for you. Shaden, my dear wife, it's wonderful to see you. And for anyone else just checking in to view, hello, good morning. Yes, all 15 minutes. It is absolutely lovely to see you all today. We are going to go ahead and we'll do a pre-roll ad break here in about 50 seconds, but I wanted to go ahead and just say good morning to everyone. And then at that point, we will be going on with what remains of Edith Finch, and the goal for the stream today is to go until we beat the game. Chugged a Red Bull and full hours of sleep, I am running on pure chaos. I would expect absolutely nothing less of such a delightful raccoon as yourself. So while the ad breaks are going on, we do pre-rolls so that people coming into the stream don't have to watch commercials for the next hour. We will be going ahead and enjoying some words on stream. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to get that going. And enjoy some words on stream before we go to our ad break. As we go to our ad break. Alright, it seems like pre-roll is done. As soon as this round is over, we will go ahead and get going with what remains of Edith Finch. I also want to give a special shout out to my lurker that just told me that they were lurking. It is wonderful to see you this morning, friend. Good morning, and I hope you wake up well. All right. Great round, everyone. We did so well this morning. I'm super excited about that. All right, so this morning we are streaming What Remains of Edith Finch. I warn everyone, this is not necessarily the happiest game I've ever played, but the story is so genuinely impactful. So at game crazy about okay, let me fix crazy about because Doorkeeper, not crazy. How does that sound, Chad? Is that better? Is that better? The last game we streamed was very quiet on the game bit. More, please. Okay. There we go. Dropping some volumes. Much better. Okay. Like I was saying to everyone, good morning. We're going to be doing What Remains of Edith Finch. This is not necessarily the gentlest game we'll ever play, but the story is absolutely incredible. Got some beautiful voice now. I don't know where you're hearing the beautiful voice, but that's exciting. So we have ad roll going. We will not have to worry about commercials for the next hour, or for anyone who comes in to watch us for the next hour, they will be immune to advertisements. So without further ado, let's get going. And because I do strive to be a neurospicy safe space, along the way, if you find that this game is becoming a little bit too much, please let me know. We can take a quick break, maybe just chat for a moment to let you recover. So without further ado, let's experience What Remains of Edith Finch together.
A lot of this isn't going to make sense to you, and I'm sorry about that. I'm just going to start at the beginning, with the house.
Tiny increase on game volume. It's nice and consistent that way. Alright, let's see if that works. I think that was the loudest point. What's up, Jake? It is awesome to have you in here this morning, friend.
But I wasn't allowed inside half the rooms.
Alright, so off in the distance we have the house.
Inside the mailbox were bills from 7 years ago, marked urgent, open immediately. I hadn't been back since my brother Lewis's funeral. In her will, my mother left me a key, but didn't tell me what it unlocked. Maybe she thought I'd know. Or she thought that the mystery would be enough to bring me back.
Now, here we do have a path choice. And Robert Frost once described the idea of the road less traveled, but here's the advantage we have this morning, dear chat. We actually have the ability to explore both paths if we so choose.
No one had driven this way in a long time, but I saw a few hoof prints. The truth is, even after I inherited the house, I never thought I'd come back to it. But now I had questions about my family that only the house knew the answers to. The house was exactly like I remembered it, the way I'd been dreaming about it.
Well, good morning, Mel. It is absolutely lovely to have you in chat this morning. Shaden, are you able to help give Mel a shout out for me? Mel is an absolutely brilliant streamer.
As a child, the house
And if we can
made me
give Jake one as well,
uncomfortable in a way
please.
I couldn't put into words.
How are you doing this
Now,
morning, Mel?
as a 17-year-old, I knew exactly what those words were. I was afraid of the house.
Just sat down with coffee. Oh, Mel, that's so exciting. That first cup of coffee in the morning is absolutely delightful. I mean, so are like the 5th and 6th cups of coffee as you go too.
I hoped the key might unlock the front door. It didn't.
Let's see here. You had trouble doing it as well. Unfortunately, the person who's absolutely best at it is Momo Tobes, our head moderator. And I don't think she's here yet this morning. So whenever Momo Tobes pops in, we'll plan on doing some shoutouts. I'm doing really well today, Mel. Oh, thank you. Thank you for the shout out for Mel. If you haven't checked out Mel, absolutely incredible streamer. Highly recommend checking them out. And if we can also do a shout out for Jake. Jake's a good friend of the channel. I tried like 5 times. I'll have to wait 2 minutes. All right, thank you.
Used to be a lot easier when I was 11.
All right. This game has so much incredible atmosphere to it.
The power had been turned off the night we left. For the first time in years, I felt like I was home.
You like this, but you
instead
haven't.
of a
You have this, but
family,
you haven't
there
played
were
it.
just
Okay.
memories of one.
Well, Mel, one of the things I was talking to people about previously is that I think this is one of those games that absolutely will. It'll definitely change some of your perspective on what games can and can't be. It is so incredible. And Mel, if you weren't here at the very beginning, one of the things I'm always trying to do is to be a spicy safe space. So at any point, if this game feels like it's too much for anyone in chat, please let me know so that we can either take a break, maybe try to pause, laugh for a little bit, maybe just chat for a moment, because I know this game can be a little emotionally intense at times.
Like how only one restaurant would deliver to our house, so we had Chinese a lot.
A cheeky Subway. I am assuming you meaning the rest. Are you? Well, hang on, Raccoon. You're in the UK, so are you riding the subway or eating Subway?
Or how after Lewis started working at the cannery, we all got sick of eating salmon. Except our cat, Molly.
Eating Subway. Got it. I hope your morning has gone well for you, Raccoon. I know you've already had your whole morning already. Also, chat, if there's something along the way that you would like us to explore a little bit more, zoom in on, let me know. Just kind of looking around the rooms.
The The table was still a wreck from the night we left. It was like a bomb had gone off, killing everyone but sparing the furniture.
You got up at 8 a.m., cleaned for 2 hours, and now getting foods. Well, I'm glad that you're eating, and I'm glad you've had such a productive day, Raccoon. For us, it's just now past 8 a.m. where I am.
My mom was the only one of us who could imagine Great-Grandma Edie living in a nursing home. Nothing in the house looked abnormal. There was just too much of it, like a smile with too many teeth. Mom always told me to stay out of the basement, so I wasn't too surprised when the key didn't fit.
Oh, Jake, just past 7 a.m. is so early. Thank you for being willing to join us.
Great-Grandpa Sven built a music box for Barbara, along with the rest of the house.
We've got to be careful. If the box breaks, I believe a ghost hunt starts.
After Milton disappeared, Mom sealed up all the bedrooms. Then Edie retaliated and drilled peepholes. My Grandpa Sam spent 7 years sharing a room with his dead brother, Calvin. As a kid, I just assumed every house had peepholes and sealed rooms you weren't allowed inside of.
Yes, absolutely, Jake. Thank you for doing such a great job with Phasmo last night. That was a ton of fun.
The last time I was in Edith Sr.'s room, I was 10 and she was painting my portrait.
We'll come back to that.
Molly always seemed like a girl I could imagine being friends with, if she hadn't died in 1947.
Well, that does put a damper on the relationship. Check the dates. Oh, yeah. So here we have Molly, who lived from 1937 to 1947. If you go silent, like you may have fallen asleep. Absolutely understandable. Thank you, friend. Here we have Barbara, who lived from 1944 to 1960.
Barbara was a child star for 2 years, until America grew out of it. Mom must have locked the 3rd floor stairs on the night we left. Whenever people ask me about my family, the first thing they always want to know about is Barbara. I spent a lot of time playing in Great Uncle Walter's room.
I really like the painting in this room.
Lewis told me there were secret passages, but I never believed him. Turns out, my mom was really good at keeping secrets. Now it was time to find out what my mom had been afraid of. Reading this, maybe it sounds like I had a plan. But I had no idea what was behind that door.
This house is absolutely mental, Jake, and we haven't even gotten to the crazy stuff yet.
I had no idea where all this was gonna lead.
Alright, so we've made our way
looking
into
at
Molly's
room
room.
through the peephole. Molly's gerbil had a tiny bedroom with its own even tinier gerbil cage. Being inside for the first time, I felt like I'd stepped behind a painting.
December 13th, 1947. Dear Diary, I'll be gone soon, but I wanted to tell somebody about what's gonna happen. It started when Mom sent me to bed without dinner. I woke up and I was starving, so I looked around for something to eat. The gerbil food was dry, but I didn't mind it. Mom, can I come out now?
Sweetheart, it's late. Go to sleep.
My Halloween candy was all gone. I thought about eating Christopher, but I held back.
Well, to be fair, she didn't actually eat Christopher.
I kept eating and eating. I ate a lot of things that night. Then I heard chirping outside my window. It was a barn swallow going back to her nest. I reached out for her. And suddenly, I was a cat. I tried to be quiet, but the bird was really scared. Mom and Dad didn't even look at me.
Yeah, plot twist, she became a cat. That's what happens when you mix fluoride toothpaste with holly berries, isn't it? You two would love to become a cat. Yeah, cat. It would be fantastic to have the agility and spatial skills of a cat. Also, the ability to purr, I think, would be rather quite nice.
I jumped and I almost got her. I could tell she was getting really tired.
Let's see here, where's the next jump? Everybody wants to be a cat. Well, that is true, because they say that a cat's the only cat who knows where it's at. I hear that when playing jazz, you always has a welcome mat, because everybody digs a swinging cat. Come on now.
now I was up in the big tree. I promised
Love that
Dad
movie,
I
Jake.
wouldn't climb it anymore. All I cared about was eating that mama bird.
There we go.
I gobbled her up. And suddenly, I was an owl. First, all I heard was the wind. Then I heard little teeth nibbling in the grass.
Let's see here.
Rabbits. I imagined his face looking up.
Just
and
owls
seeing
being
my
owls.
talons. I swallowed him up, and I didn't chew one bit. Then I flew off to find something bigger.
Just Molly being an owl. To be fair, it's hard to chew if you're an owl. They don't have
I'm a
teeth.
rabbit.
Where did it go? A trash cat. I am not surprised about the wreck. Oh, come on. This is much more difficult on PC. Where did you go? Start earlier? There we go.
She was almost too big to carry. I started choking, but I couldn't stop eating. And suddenly, I was a shark.
Happens to all of us sometimes. It looks stunning. You know, Raccoon King, I'm sure you also look stunning. But yes, this is a nice looking game. Man, I hate it when one moment I'm an owl and the next I'm a shark. Come on, Sharky. We can do it. Yeah, shark, of course. You go from cat to owl to shark. Natural progression of things. Here we
I
go.
rolled off the cliff and into the ocean. Now,
Ah, much
I
better.
was
Can
hungrier
breathe
than
finally.
ever.
Bet you all had no idea what you were getting into with this game. Juicy seals. I mean, I don't like it when my seals are overcooked and dry.
And it tasted really good.
No, no, no. Come on back now, seal.
Grabbed on tight. But I was so hungry, I jumped out of the water. When I opened my eyes, everything had changed. Now I was a monster, and I smelled people everywhere.
Post toothpaste and Holly Berry's ocean trip. You were not ready for the Animorphs. Jake, absolutely great reference. I appreciate that.
I was big, and I moved real quiet.
Put you in me basket.
I wanted to
Well, I kind of hate to interrupt his song. I mean, it's an absolute classic shanty. Alright, well, here we go. Nom nom nom. Sorry, mate, you were a bit off key. Anamorph to Eldritch Horror. Yeah, this game's pretty wild. This is why we don't eat holly berries or fluoride toothpaste. Clearly the only reason. Excuse me,
As
Captain.
a passenger, I was still hungry. And to cross the water, I smelled something new. Something I had to have, so I swam towards it. I slithered onto the sand, and the good smell went into an old pipe.
I do find that good smells rarely come from old pipes.
I got closer and closer.
Sneaky, sneaky, and look where we are again.
All of my stomach started growling. And
Toilet
suddenly,
pipes are probably the worst.
I held my breath for a long time, but I couldn't hear anything. I think it's waiting for me to fall asleep. But it's not going to wait much longer. It needs to be, and we both know I will be delicious.
And that was the last night that Molly Finch was alive.
I'm not sure if I believed all of that, but I'm sure Edie would have.
What happened to the gerbil? I don't know. The cage appeared to have already been kind of empty by the time we were in there. Sorry about that, Molly. Alright, time to do the cat stuff as a non-cat.
This will be obvious later, but my mom never told me any of these stories. Edie would have, but Mom didn't like bringing up the past. Though, when we adopted a stray kitten, she was the one who named it Molly. I spent a lot of time in Great-Grandma Edie's room. Her room was like a museum.
Here we have Odin from 1880 to 1937.
For 500 years, the Finches have been famous throughout Norway for their fortune and misfortune. Odin Finch buries the latest victims of the family curse, his wife Ingeborg and their newborn son, Johan. On January 7th, 1937, he set sail with his family and his house, hoping to leave the curse behind. But 40-foot waves off the coast of Washington send the house and Odin to the bottom of the sea. Odin's daughter Edie, with husband Sven and baby Molly, step ashore on their new home, Orcas Island. Odin Finch is the first to be buried in the new family cemetery. His daughter Edie is already dreaming of a new Finch house. Whatever's wrong with this family, it goes back a long ways.
The mysteries of death and thereafter.
Lewis died a week before we left, but Edie had already started to memorialize him. Edie knit me a new pair of gloves every year, just in time to replace the old ones. Edie gave a big interview about a mole man living under the Finch house. My mom was furious.
Ah yes, the Mole Man.
I hadn't thought of myself as Edith Jr. for a long, long time. When Edie told people Sven was killed by a dragon, she could also have said he was building a dragon-shaped slide that collapsed. She could have, but she didn't.
I will say, in her defense, killed by a dragon is much nicer sounding than killed by a slide. Oh,
Even
look
in
at the
your
baby.
90s, sometimes Edie seemed a lot younger than my mother.
Ah yes, the true horror. Now, if any of you are horror fans, I doubt anything you will ever see will ever be as horrific as this bathroom. The coloring, the shag absolutely everywhere.
The only trace Grandpa Sam's first wife Kay left on the house was the pink bathroom. It was a pretty big trace.
The shag is absolutely, yeah, carpet in the bathroom. Not only that, but carpet covering the toilet, carpet all over the floor. You know, this has to be a room that can rival the pipe to Molly's toilet. Mold, oh. That carpet is horrendous.
There's a secret in this bathroom. It's in the last place you would look. It isn't in the cupboard. It's hidden in this book.
Here we have Calvin Finch, who was born and died in the 1950s. You like the book bathroom so much better. Isn't this book bathroom absolutely wild?
Sven gave Sam an old camera he'd refurbished. He never put it down.
Ah, back in the days when you needed a red room for film. Let's see what the newspaper's saying. Couple turns land into Native Haven. Early work on rail link.
From the paintings on the wall, it was clear my brother Milton had been here before me. I knew Grandpa Sam had a twin. And that he never talked about him. I guess my grandpa didn't like history any more than my mom did.
And here we have Calvin from 1950 to 1961.
How I Want to Remember My Brother by Sam Finch. The thing I remember is that when he made up his mind, that was it. My My brother said he'd die before he ate another mushroom. And he did. At Barbara's funeral, we swore we'd never be afraid again. And he wasn't. I think Calvin always wanted to fly.
Sam! Calvin! Dinner's ready!
Coming!
But that day, he finally made up his mind to do it. I told him going around was impossible. Maybe if I hadn't said that,
Calvin! I'm not gonna tell you again!
maybe if the wind hadn't picked up, then maybe he'd still be here. But I doubt it. I think he'd already made up his mind. That's what I want to remember about my brother. The day he made up his mind to fly. And he did.
Calvin's story felt strangely familiar. When I was younger, I remember trying to do the exact same thing.
Yeah, oh no, that is sad. And Raccoon King, I think part of the brilliance of that specific vignette is that you see it coming the entire time,
After the funeral,
and you just kind of
Edie
have to
ripped off
wait.
Calvin's half of the room.
You also have to manually pump the legs for that scene.
The passages were a pretty tight fit. They'd obviously been built for smaller hands and bellies. Growing up, I always thought of Barbara as a child star. I never thought about how hard it must have been for her afterwards.
Oh, we've got some of the old Doggo for wellness check. Thank you so much, Shaden. I'll tell you what, another thing we can do to help make sure, because I want to make sure everyone's okay while we're doing this. I know it's a very heavy story. Let's go ahead. We'll take a quick moment just to make sure everyone's okay. I think what we can do... Let's see here. Raccoon Dance Party and Dinosaur Dance Party. There we go. Absolutely. I hope everyone's doing okay as we explore the story. Blown away by this house. It is a wild house, Jake. I am sure there is absolutely zero code involved with the building of this house. Alright, hopefully the dance party to help kind of shake off that heaviness just a little bit. Hey, it's... Oh no, that's the thing from Molly's story. Yep. Alright, and now we have Barbara Finch, who lived from 1944 to 1960. Hey there, Grey Duck. Yeah, I love the Pikachu. Alright, let's go ahead and find out what happened to Barbara Finch.
Of all the stories people wrote about Barbara's death, I'm surprised Edie saved this one.
Grey is back. Back again.
Old Jack here with another ghastly tale inspired by America's most unfortunate family. I'm calling it The Surprise Ending of Barbara Finch. As a child star, Barbara was famous for her scream. Now at 16, she was all washed up. A has-been. But in a lucky break, she'd been asked to perform her signature scream at a local convention for monster movie fans. It was just the boost her career needed. Unfortunately, her scream hadn't aged well.
Getting better. I think you just need the right motivation.
Her biggest fan and current boyfriend, Rick, was about to demonstrate when...
Now that was a great scream.
It was Barbara's father, Sven. He'd slipped into a table saw and had to be rushed to the emergency room. So Barbara got stuck babysitting her youngest brother, Walter. Her convention comeback was cancelled.
Okay, I'm hearing frustration, but I'm not hearing terror. What if I tried...
A gang of hoodlums in Halloween masks have been terrorizing Orcas Island tonight. Police are urging residents to...
That came from the basement.
You're right! Also, I loved your delivery on that. Why is your basement door locked?
Because my dad likes making puzzles and secret...
Something terrifying is going on.
There's a
Let me
key
give you
hidden in
acting
the music
like
box.
coaching.
The secret is to keep winding and winding until finally the key pops out.
Thanks, babe. I'll be back in a sec.
20 minutes later, Rick hadn't returned. So Barbara went to look for him, right on cue. She reached for the music box. And as she wound the key, she listened for Rick, but the house was silent. She found Rick's crutch and imagined the worst.
Ah yes, give me control over swinging your crutch. What's the worst that could happen?
The gang's leader is the infamous Hookman killer, Dr. Carl Hamill, who impaled and then ate his family 10 years ago tonight.
Let's see here.
The old fridge rattled and grew still.
Oh dear!
Oh.
Rick?
Barb, relax.
Well, I don't
Just trying to
condone
scare
violence. He
you
kind
to
of had
help
it
you
coming.
Find your scream.
Well, I'm not scared, Rick. I'm furious.
Then act furious. All I'm getting from you now is that you're hurt and confused and
Rick is a bit of a red flag. I think we can all agree.
To remember him by.
By a bit, I mean, Rick is a pretty serious red flag.
And she was still holding it when she fell asleep
She did throw him out.
Late picture show. Hours later.
Barbara! Walter, what's going on up there? Ah! Okay, I'm coming up. But if this is a trick, you're dead, Walter.
I don't feel like the Finches should ever make those kind of threats. Hey, look, it's Don't Fight Ducks. I didn't know he was in this game. What's up, Ducks? Ducks? Well, roller skates aren't supposed to go down the stairs on their own like that.
Walter, are you there?
Walter had vanished, but his bedside radio was still on.
Orcas Island police describe the man as 6 feet tall, with a steel hook for a hand. Residents are urged to lock all doors and windows and notify the police of any suspicious activity.
Barbara turned, saw the hook man, and was speechless. He was quite smashing.
It's an Onryo.
And he was. He couldn't get enough of Barbara.
Okay, Barbara, there's gotta be another way out of here.
Calling an Onryo.
That night, she played her part beautifully.
Oh yeah, we're back in Molly's room.
Molly's door hadn't been opened in years. The hinges groaned. He wasn't moving, but she sensed the story might not be over yet.
Alright, he's down there. So no Bombo playing hot and cold.
The hookman had vanished. She listened for his breathing, but all she heard was...
Thank you, Shaden. Shaden just brought me coffee.
To speak to young Barbara. At the door, she heard whispering. It was coming from inside the house.
It's always coming from inside the house.
Oh dear.
The monsters had come to surprise her. For Barbara, it was a dream come true. Then she saw what kind of monsters they were, and she realized what was about to happen. She was going to be famous. And with her final breath, Barbara Finch gave the performance of her life. I wasn't there myself, but I hear Barbara was magnificent. Poor girl. She had a taste for stardom. But unfortunately, so did her fans. Of course, the police blamed it all on poor Rick, who disappeared the same night. And little Walter? Hiding under his bed the whole time. He took it all pretty hard. music box was all they ever found of her. Her ear. Now that's what I call a real eerie tale.
Edie told me all Barbara wanted was to be remembered, as absurd as that comic was. Maybe what Edie saw was a happy ending.
I need a caffeinate instead of a hydrate. I think that would get dangerous. I'd end up vibrating through the floor at the rate some people like to redeem channel points. And hydrate's so important. One of my favorite expressions at times is hydrate before you dihydrate. Haha. So one of the things I really adore about this game, and specifically about the story, is that I feel like there is so much room for interpretation as to what actually happened in a lot of these stories. I have so many points saved up, I could cause so much chaos on stream. Well, that's true, but Shaden, you also have a unique way to cause chaos in stream in the fact that you could just walk down the stairs and actually physically cause chaos in the stream. Something not a lot of people can do. Oh no. But I love the fact that in this game, we can take the idea of the monsters.
I guess now I know why Mom didn't like me playing with the music box.
We can take the idea of the monsters getting Barbara in so many different ways. We could take that in a literal sense, as, you know, monsters actually physically got Barbara. Or it could be monsters in terms of there were a bunch of horrible people who broke into the house and killed her. But we could also kind of take it in terms of it was the monsters of kind of the ravenous expectation of her fans, or the ravenous expectations of society on her, that ultimately ended up killing Barbara. It's absolutely incredible when we are allowed to interpret things as an audience.
A lot of things got left behind in the whirlwind of that last night.
So a lot of you don't know, I used to teach a history of film class, and let's see here, this game is great, but my imagination is much worse than what they conjure.
Edie told me once that every Finch who ever lived is buried somewhere in the library.
That's a bit of an ominous statement. But in having taught history of film, one of my greatest complaints about a lot of modern cinema is that they treat the audience like they are incapable. Raccoon King, let's see here. Oh, no, don't cause the chaos, Shaden. We are getting ready to need to do ad break. It's going to be popping up here in about a minute. And this seems kind of like a nice place to take a quick break. So I am going to switch back to words on stream. And we'll have ad break here. It's going to start in about 60 seconds, but I want you all to get to play some more words on stream. Hopefully, if you need to, you can get up, stretch. You can... Let's see here. You can get up, stretch, get some water. Oh, silly bot, don't be doing that. We don't need bots around here. Hydrate. I'm going to go up and say hi to Shady Ducklet while previews are going. That's our toddler, for the people who don't know. All right, so ad break should be starting in about 15 seconds. It's 3 minutes of ad break that we do for the sake of keeping people out of ad roll for the next hour. And I will see you all in about 3 minutes. All right, the ads should be over now. I was curious because it was showing an ad for an R-rated movie. Unfortunately, Momotobes, that is not something that I was able to pick. So sorry about that. And welcome in, Momotobes. It's absolutely delightful to have you. For anyone who doesn't know Momotobes, Momotobes is my head moderator. She is also Shaden's head moderator. We love Momotobes around here. All right, so let's get going back with the adventure of Edith Finch. Time to play the music box, because that never goes poorly in anything ever. Well, I've broken the music box. That usually starts a cursed hunt. All right. Now we have
Mom said
Sven's
the basement was
workshop.
off limits, unless I wanted another tetanus shot.
Tetanus shots are not fun. Would not
I
recommend
saw
her needing
Edie
to get
sneak
one.
down to the basement once, carrying packages. I thought maybe she was hiding presents.
Let's look in the fridge.
It turned out she was hiding a lot more than that.
Still at work's on your phone. Wanted to hang out. Oh, Momotobes, that's always genuinely appreciated. I hope work is going extremely well for you today. You know, I think this is a pretty normal thing in most of our fridges, isn't it? Most of us keep big metal doors in the back of our refrigerators. That
I
lead
remember
to
asking Mom
underground
once about where
caverns.
Walter had gone. She said after Barbara died, he got as far away as he could. If there's a pattern in all these stories, I think it's that none of us has gotten very far.
And here we have Walter Finch from 1952 to 2005.
Goodbye, everyone. I can't believe I've been down here for
The
30
mole
years.
man under the house. Yes, that was a good call forward. Foreshadow.
On that first day, after the shaking started, I didn't think I'd survive a week. But after a few days, I settled into a routine. That's what kept me sane.
The character from Bleach, absolutely.
Having a schedule, living for today. I always expected to be dead tomorrow.
All right, now we're in the 1970s. It also could be
If you wait
Momo
long
from
enough,
Avatar: The Lost
you can just do
Airbender.
anything.
All right, little disco music.
Even a monster on the other side of the door starts to feel normal. Almost friendly.
Steady diet of peaches should be super beneficial.
And then one day, everything just stopped.
Now we're in 2005.
Whatever that thing was, it was gone.
Won't get scurvy.
Maybe it got tired of waiting. Or maybe I just got tired of being afraid.
Human food and not gerbil food. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Jake, that is...
It's
Oh.
been a week now, longest in 30 years.
So this
I'm
man has
done
been in this
waiting.
bunker for 30
I
years.
have to leave. Well, I still can. I know it's out there somewhere.
Looking at you, Ducky, in a bunker. Just because I am trying to convince my father-in-law to build a bunker on his property. And just because I use bunker
Whatever
imagery
killed
on my
Barbara.
banner. Whatever killed
Molly.
Barbara. And Molly.
And Calvin. Maybe this is all a mistake. But I need to stop living the same day, even if it kills me. Whatever's out there, I want you to know I'm ready for it. I'm going to appreciate all of it, especially the food. I don't mind if I only have a year left. Or a month. Or a single week. I'd be happy with one new day. I can already imagine the sun in my face.
That was not the sun, Walter. Is Bleach a game or a show? It is an anime with 500,000 fighting games based off of it,
I
Momo
can't believe
Jobs.
my mom never told me he was down here.
Oh, thank you for the dogs there. For the
I'm sure
doggos,
my
Shaden.
mom was trying to protect me.
Like I said, it is a heavy story, but I think there is a lot of really interesting and beautiful parts of humanity really wrapped up into these stories. I think Walter's story, it always hits me so hard, knowing that this man was so unfortunately held back by his fears and his trauma of what he had seen. He was stuck in this
Maybe she was
horrible
afraid I'd end
bunker
up like Walter.
for 30 years.
But if she never told me about an uncle under the house, I can only imagine what else she was hiding.
I mean, that's true. Generally, if I found out my grandmother was
I
great-grandmother,
don't want to make the same mistakes she made.
yeah, if my great-grandmother was hiding whole human beings under the house,
Trying
I
to
might be a
bury
little less
something that's
trusting.
Still alive. Now that there's only one of us left, or maybe two, I thought it was time I heard the stories for myself and found out what happened to everyone else. But now I'm worried the stories themselves might be the problem. Maybe we believed so much in a family curse, we made it real.
I do have to say, it's a little bit wild to me that they would put all these train images on Walter's memorial. Here we can see, oh, the tracks. So we don't have to worry about the train anymore.
I don't know if I should even be writing this.
Not the most sensitive choice. I would agree, Shaden.
Maybe it'd be better if all this just died with me.
Happy animal dance break. Trying to make sure everyone's doing
But
okay.
I thought you should know about your family. And and the history you're a part of.
We've got the old house.
Though to be honest, I feel as lost as you probably do right now. I think the people in these stories believed them, for what that's worth. And when you look at the house, that history of imagination and stubbornness and madness, any of it seems possible.
Yeah, look at this house. Absolutely wild.
I think we've been surrounded by death for so long, we've just gotten used to it. What kind of family finishes building a cemetery before starting the house? It's embarrassing for me to admit this, but the pet cemetery made me more uncomfortable than the human one.
Well, let's take a look at who we've got here. Oh, look, there's Christopher. Christopher got his own little tombstone. Shadow,
3 of the
Shotzi,
gerbils are
Oliver,
mine.
Bob.
2 had been my fault.
Oh, so many gerbil deaths. Oh no. Hang on, we'll get over there. Bob. A frog. We've got Zerpy, Lurpy, Furpy, Chirpy, Burpy, Derpy, and Derpy Jr. Derpy Jr. We've got Lucy, Daisy, Charlie, Tucker, Coco, Zoe. I mean, it's lovely that these people care enough about their pets that they get their own cemetery. And at least we know that Christopher and all of the gerbils received their final resting place.
Sven built the house, but it was Edie who designed the cemetery.
Let's take a look here. Molly Finch. Oh, we've got a cat with angel wings. For Calvin, we've got his space theme. I will say these are brilliantly designed tombstones that seem to really help kind of capture part of the person themselves. We've got Sven with a saw. Edie, so we can see great-grandma Edie died in 2010. She's got a book with letters going all over the place. Walter Finch. He gets a hole in a rock. Barbara Finch gets a star. I feel like there's a little disparity between Barbara and Walter's memorials here.
I'm sure Odin's monument had been Edie's idea. My mom was always trying to move on, but for Edie, the past never went away. She could see it poking out of the water at low tide. Edie said she dreamed about the old house every night. Edie's side was always easier for me to understand. But the older I get, the more I can see where my mom was coming from.
Alright, who do we have over here? We have Gregory Finch from 76 to
Her dad had
77.
been pretty strict, but it wasn't enough to save her brothers. She was just trying to do better.
Sam Finch from 1950 to 1983, and Gus from 69 to 82. We've got an American flag and a pinwheel. We've got Milton Finch, which just says 1992, and there's a paintbrush. We've got Sanjay Kumar from 66 to 02.
She lost 2 of her brothers, just like I did. I get why she tried so hard to protect us.
And we've got Lewis Finch from 88 to 10 as well, and he's got a crown on his tombstone.
There's so many things I wish I could ask my mom now. Part of me thinks this is what she wanted all along. For me to come back someday and find everything out for myself.
I do find the voice acting in this game to be absolutely superb.
But looking back on it now, if she told me there was going to be so much climbing, I never would have come when I was 22 weeks pregnant. I never met Grandpa Sam, but I think he and my mom had a lot in common.
See? 22 weeks pregnant.
They were both pretty intense.
So here's Grandpa Sam's room. Bearskin rug.
Instead of hiding from death, Sam seemed to go out of his way to meet it.
So we can see Sam was a soldier. And clearly very into hunting. To my watch, this something else catches my attention. Yeah, there is so much detail. Wildly packed. There's a box of stuff for Kay. There's so much attention to detail in this game that it's one of those games Shayden and I have played through this game a half a dozen times at this point, and still are not tired of it. We feel like we need to revisit it every so often. So we can here we see Sam Finch has all sorts of medals.
Sam spent his life shooting photos, but Mom said he got nervous being in front of the camera. I guess we're all afraid of something.
Dawn, I promise, you'll never forget this weekend.
Yes, sir.
These memories are gonna last a lifetime.
Hmm?
Perfect.
Am I gonna have to shoot anything?
Alright, now we've got our Fatal Frame reference. See, we're being very relevant.
I will never forget this weekend, Dad.
That's the spirit.
Odin Finch National Park.
Okay, got it.
I'm gonna take some pictures, okay?
Just be careful. The camera's older than you are.
One of these days, I need to get it up to the Washington area to explore it. It
You're
looks
right,
so
Dad. It's starting
beautiful.
to clear up. Still freezing, though.
Hello, bird.
Aw.
Definitely should not have drunk all that coffee. Hey!
That's a keeper.
I'm just saying, I'm not always gonna be here, Don. You'll need to remember this stuff, if you want to survive.
I'll be fine, Dad.
You know who else thought he was gonna be fine?
Some guy who died.
Don, I'm being serious.
I know, Dad. You're always serious. Doesn't being out here make you want to chill out?
Well, to tell you the truth, I haven't been out here in 20 years. Don, don't you think you could find something more interesting to photograph? Last time I was with my brother Calvin. Man, that was a great trip. Your grandpa Sven taught us how to fish, how to build a fire. We found an old logging trail. There were deer everywhere. I bet if I could remember where that trail was, we'd spot a buck for you in no time.
Dad!
Good eyes, Don. Before you take the shot, let me get a picture of you.
Dad, I...
Just breathe. Turn off your imagination. Focus on your target. Let me get behind you.
Do I have to do this?
Don, you don't have to do anything. But if you want to survive, you'll need to be strong. Now keep yourself squared up. Great shot, Don! I'm proud of you, Don. Always remember that, okay?
Dad, it's twitching. I think
That's
it's
totally
so...
normal, Don. Just focus on the camera. Try not to think about...
Dad!
Of all these stories, that's the one I wish most that my mom had told me.
Wow. Yeah, this is... Like I said, this is not the gentlest game. Let's see here. Trash Dog says, "Hey, Atomic, I don't know how you're up this early, ready to investigate." Trash Dog, I am a bundle of energy in an electrical socket. Let's see here. Great, can't read that one. Trash Dog, good morning. Hey, Trash Dog, how are you doing? Great to see you. Yeah, Raccoon King, like I said, not the easiest game. Definitely not. Definitely not. Yeah, well, and we'll talk about this more later. Part of my goal is to have a little bit of time after the game ends where we can kind of chat and maybe debrief a little bit. Yeah, let's get some dancing animals in the background. I know that was a very heavy story. I'm going to give everyone a warning right now. We are probably coming up, out of all of these stories we've done that are really, really heavy, we are about to come up on what I would consider the hardest of all of the stories. So I want to give you all that warning now. I don't want to spoil anything, but if you'll recall a tombstone earlier, great timing, my food just got here. Oh, fantastic. Your food just got there. I'm so glad, Raccoon. I hope you enjoy your Subway. You got Subway, right? Isn't that what you mentioned? If you recall, there was a specific tombstone earlier we came across that only had 1 year on there, and that is the next story. So if that's something you know is going to be a really difficult
Sam
trigger
died,
for you,
my mom and Edie got really close.
please make sure you
They
take
both
care of
lost a
yourself.
lot.
It's really important you all are making sure that you are taken care of. Most unrealistic bit. Baby gates are not that easy to deal with. Alright, so everyone, you have your warning now. We are about to deal with probably the most difficult story in the entire game. We've got Gregory from 1976 to 1977. Raccoon King, I am so glad you got your food. Enjoy. I think from previous conversations, you love a good meatball sub, was the discussion. All right, and after this story, let's try to make sure we're taking care of everyone. After the story ends, let's do Animal Dance Party, just to try to make sure everyone has a moment to recover. And yes, Meatball Sub, Raccoon King, you are just an absolute delight. All right, so let's get through the story, and then let's do Animal Dance Party afterwards. So we've got a divorce contract between Kay Carlisle and Sam Finch. So it looks like Kay is the one who initiated the divorce against Sam.
About Gregory. About everything. But I know what happened wasn't your fault. love, Sam.
Ooh, yeah, let's go ahead and get Animal Dance Party going on in the chat right now. That is yeah, that's a really difficult difficult story. Let's see here. My wife's name is Kay and I'm standing in the bathroom. This confused me. I was like, how does Shaden know? Shaden knows a great many things. Trash Dog that would just shock people. So Trash Dog, what she was referring to is way earlier in the game. We found a bathroom. The entire bathroom was pink, and there was shag carpet all over the bathroom and all over the toilet. One of the most disturbing bathrooms I've ever seen, and I've been to some really sketchy gas stations. She's all-knowing. You're telling me, Raccoon King. I live with her. And yeah, so she was referring to the bathroom that Kay decorated with the horrendous pink shag absolutely everywhere. I think one of the most important takeaways on a mood-boosting note, do you want me to bring more pecan pie rolls today? Why, yes, Momotobes, we would love to have more pecan pie rolls today. Those were delicious. Thank you for the offer. It will be in my nightmares. Yeah, that bathroom, absolutely horrendous. Whatever horror game you may have played, it probably couldn't have matched that specific bathroom. Carpet in a bathroom, truly awful, horror to even. And not just carpet, Trash Dog. It was shag carpet. It was shag carpet. A very, very rough pink shag carpet. I think one of the most important things we can take away from this game at this point, long carpet. I think one of the most important things that we can really take away from this game is that life can be really difficult. And there's certainly a lot of tragedy that occurs to us along the way. But it seems like this family didn't really talk about it or acknowledge that what they're going through is traumatic. We need to address these things. We need to talk about these things. We can't just sweep it under a rug and call it a curse and just shrug our shoulders and go, oh, well, it happens. Family's cursed. Not much we can do. Playing through this time, having a lot more training around therapy this year than I did the year previous. Poor babies. Yeah, exactly, Raccoon King. And this is a family who has been suffering for a great many generations. And we can kind of see a traumatic cycle being passed down to each generation of this family with this curse, as they liked to call it, So we need to talk about these things, though. It is so important. All right. Hopefully everyone's recovered. Hopefully, Raccoon King, you're enjoying your meatballs sub. Let's go ahead and let's find out what happened to Gus from 1969 to 1982. Another fairly young death. This was our Uncle Gus.
A poem for Gus, who always said the wedding was a bad idea. Our father never hit us kids, at least not very hard.
Cookie, absolutely that Cookie.
My brother said with teenage disregard that he'd be dead before he'd see a wedding in our yard.
Alright, so Dad is remarried at this point, making Gus very upset. Grandpa Sam.
My father made him come, of course, but Gus stood far apart, just flew his kite and bottled up the storm inside his heart. I tried to talk him out of it, but though he'd never met her, we don't need a stepmom, were the words that I
now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride.
Okay, what am I missing here?
When the time for photos came, Dad ordered him to come here. But Gus declined, and as a sign held up his middle finger.
Oh, come on, Gus, we don't talk like that on this channel. Don't flip people off. Not nice. I understand your anger, though. I don't know if I just wasn't as impacted by Gus or if I'm always traumatized by Gregory that I blank him out, but I never remember him until we get to this point. I genuinely, Shaden, I think that it is more of the
The wind picked up,
intense...
and panicked geese appeared and quickly went. But all the humans did that day was go inside the tent.
I think it's more of how intense Gregory's story is. Gus's death is an absolute tragedy, but that baby is absolutely heartbreaking.
The rain came down in buckets then, but no one seemed afraid that nature might destroy the tent our dad had crudely made. The thunder sounded much too close and full of angry power. But all my father said to this was, "Make the music louder." I wish that I could truly say I thought about you on that day. Out there on the beach alone, just you, the wind, the sea, and foam. But I didn't. Until we found you.
Even Dawn forgot.
She never talked about him, but Mom told me once if I was a boy, they were going to name me Gus.
Alright, and as you can see, we have filled out most of the family tree at this point. We are getting down to Dawn, our mom, and then we've got Milton Lewis, and we are, of course, Edith. Alright, let's take a look here. They have an emergency evacuation plan, house rules. No playing outside without permission, no answering doors for strangers, no messes after dark, all chores before dark, respect others. Oh, they each have their own light switches too. Interesting. Let's see here. Raise the flag at 7:30 a.m. Look, this house, an escape plan is vital. Yeah, I would imagine that by the point with how high up we are, probably parachutes would be pretty important. So let's see here. We raise the flag at 7:30, breakfast at 8, quiet time at 11 p.m. Duties: Dawn, sweep and trash. Gus, mop and mow the yard. Greg be a baby. Routine: jump rope 100 times, jumping jacks 150 times, push-ups 100 times, crunches 100 times, run to mailbox and back. These were probably just absolutely incredibly fit children. Gregory, yeah, the Gregory part gets me absolutely every time. Every time without fail. There is a rock wall in the house. That has me a little bit
My mom
jealous.
moved up to the loft after her brothers died.
Love rock climbing.
At the time, it was as far away as she could get.
Alright, so now we have Dawn's room. Let's see what all she has. We've got, and I love, it's really, really interesting seeing some of the, like, real-world photos put into the game.
She spent a summer building houses in Calcutta, where she met my dad, Sanjay.
Alright. We've got an old computer. Let's see here. Fly to India. 87 10 ways of critical thinking. Where helping hands create safe places. This seems like an absolutely lovely mission that Dawn was on. She had her own phone. All
Religion
right.
was another thing my mom never talked about, but I think it helped her a lot after her dad died.
Especially given the way that poor Dawn had to
My mom
witness
moved to
her
India
father's
a week
death.
after graduation and got a job teaching English. Lewis was born a year later. When my dad died, I don't think Mom knew where else to go. I'm sure Edie was happy to have her back. and to see kids in the house again.
Alright, growing their own herbs.
The
I
house
wonder
had to
if
get
they
a little
grew.
bigger, but Edie was used to that.
Wonder if they grew 11 different kinds of herbs and spices.
And for a while, things were good. Almost normal. But it didn't last.
Alright, so we clearly have some homeschool going on. Some history on Odin. Scientific method. Fact or fiction. Ooh, our family history, fact or fiction. That's interesting. Oh, with a bunch of our family members' names on the desk. I've never noticed that detail before.
The beginning of the end
Hydrate.
was Milton's 10th birthday, when Edie gave him a castle.
Momoto's still pining over that lost love. Listen, Colonel Sanders fell in love with us, but he did decide we weren't worthy of running a KFC with him. Broke my heart. Absolutely broke my heart.
After Milton disappeared, the only thing he left behind was a room full of paintings.
Alright, so here we've got Milton Finch, born in 1992. No death, and she mentioned that he has disappeared. Alright, Milton was clearly an artist. If you'll recall, he had a paintbrush on his tombstone.
Milton Finch in The Magic Paintbrush.
Let's see. Shade and Shadow, thank you for the hydrate.
I was 4 when Milton disappeared.
Alright, so we don't have any confirmation over Milton. Now, I'll throw this out there, a little bit of an Easter egg for everyone. This was this company's second game who made this. Their first one was called The Unfinished Swan, and they have confirmed that Milton is in The Unfinished Swan, and that's where he went to after he disappeared out of this game.
Mom spent months searching for my brother. Then she sealed the doors. Whatever Milton had found in the
Fun
house,
Easter egg for
Mom didn't
everyone.
want it getting out.
These stairs seem entirely
Mom
safe.
definitely blamed Edie, but I think Lewis blamed himself. After he graduated, he just spent more and more time in his room. Until Mom got him a job at the cannery. Everyone always told me to stay out of Lewis's room. Except Lewis. Lewis's room smelled very, very familiar. That part of him lived on.
nope, I don't want to go out. Go, nope, stop walking out of there. Come on, turn back around. I feel like Lewis was maybe into some stuff. Oh, dual monitors. Fantastic. Let's see here. His high school diploma.
Lewis and I spent a lot of time playing games together, but he was surprisingly bad at them. He died a lot.
Great setup.
Dear Mrs. Finch, as Lewis's psychiatrist, I can understand your desire for an explanation. As I see it, the trouble began in January, shortly after we convinced your son to seek treatment for substance abuse. Newly sober, I believe Lewis first noticed the monotony of his daily life. He kept working at the cannery, but he withdrew part of himself. In our sessions, I saw the same behavior.
Being 5 stories into the air in a sketchy built
His
house,
mind
it's a
began
good
to
room. Especially being a boat.
Wander. I asked him to describe it.
Oh yeah, I have to control 2 different things at the
He
same
said
time
he
now.
started small, imagining a labyrinth. He'd feel his way about. Then something moved. Bats. And toads.
And I apologize, chat, I'm not going to be able to look at it for just a minute because I am controlling both the arm and the person walking around.
And things that had not names. He knew it was all in his head. But he took it very seriously. I had hoped he'd find himself. But he found something more. I worried about him then, daydreaming at the cannery. I spoke with his boss, but he said Lewis had become a model employee. Methodical, tireless, focused. Like a whole new Lewis. So I let him go on. I even encouraged him. It seemed very promising at first. He told me he'd made a new friend. On the edge of a city he named Lewis Topia. He built the city up slowly, brick by brick. Then he made musicians. And songs for them to play. He talked about starting a band. And he was always humming something. Every day his imagination grew stronger. He no longer spoke at the cannery. But his chopping was as reliable as ever. Then one day it struck him that all the cheering crowds, even the stones under his feet, were all in his imagination, so he could do whatever he wished. he held an election for mayor. And he won.
Ha! Bit of a Mario reference.
They begged him to stay, but his mind was already wandering. It became a game for him.
Alright, this looks like my usual Monday night streaming
Conquer
game.
a city, then immediately push on.
People who enjoy Sid Meier's Pirates.
New Louisville. St. Louis.
Ha! St. Louis.
He started drifting away from our reality. Minneapolis.
Minneapolis.
Until one day he forgot to go home from the cannery. Even as his mother pleaded with him, part of Louis kept sailing on. In Louisburg, he heard rumors of a
Oh no, gotta chop the fish, there we go.
handsome queen. The queen was on her own quest for sinister serpents. He followed the sound of her electric sitar. His chase led him to a golden palace east of the sun and west of the moon. Even then, his logic remained sound.
Just to warn everyone, we've got an ad break in
I knew the
about
world was full of
3
his
minutes.
imagination.
We'll go ahead and do that ad break in 3 minutes, and then once that happens, that'll be the last ad break before we finish the game.
But he was so proud of having created it. In his own eyes, he'd become something greater than a king. For someone who'd never known success in the real world, I think it was overwhelming. And then it struck him that the real Louis was not the one chopping salmon, but the one climbing the steps of a golden palace. My imagination is as real as my body, he told me. It was hard to argue with him.
Alright, and I'm going to... We'll go ahead and wait right here, because the ad break is going to be starting in about 1.5 minutes. And I don't want us to have to stop at a more awkward time, because that is set to automatically roll. So, what we'll do is I'm going to go ahead and switch this over to words on stream again. If you need to get up and stretch, get some water. This is the last ad break before... Let's see here. This will be the last ad break before we finish the game. I apologize, we've got to do this, but I don't want to hit the snooze button if we can avoid it. I'm only allowed so many of those every so often, it looks like. I hope you all are doing okay. If this game's a bit much for you, I do apologize. It's a story that really matters a lot to me. as we go through it. Thank you all for sharing this journey with me so far, though. We'll let the course of this one run up again. Ad break should be starting in about 20 seconds here. There we go. Alright, it is working on syncing. Alright, it seems to have hit a hiccup. So, as a reminder for my subscribers, you do not have to deal with the ad roll. Hopefully that's a nice benefit for you all. There we go, the game is being a little wonky right now. Apparently it was running, let's see here. We want you to restart. You can do it, come on. Alright, and then once ads are over, we will hopefully... Yeah, we should be able to finish up this game in not too terribly long. I hope you all are having a good time with this game. For the people hanging out with me in chat who are still here, it's only about 2.5 more minutes roughly. It's being a little squirrely right now, maybe a little bit raccoonish. There we go, it appears to be working much nicer now. Let's see what words we've got going. Hey, thanks for the dancers, raccoon. And don't worry, I do plan on afterwards us taking a little bit of time to talk about what we've just experienced on our journey on together. Because I feel like we've really gone through a lot together with this story. Alright, just about done with ads. We've only have about 30 seconds left. All right, welcome back, everybody. I hope you all had a good break. Hopefully you got up, got some water, maybe caffeine if you need it, maybe some food, got up stretched. We are getting ready to wrap up what remains of Edith Finch. The last bits of story will be here, and then afterwards, if you want to stick around and talk about it, I would be so happy to stick around and talk about it with you, make sure you're all doing okay.
We began to forget the world we know.
A legally distinct not Nintendo 3DS.
I think it pained him to remember Lewis, the cannery worker. He began to despise the man with a royal contempt.
See, here we have Lewis. He's kind of dissociating pretty hard here.
I still thought I could save him. Even after he said he was being crowned king over all the lands of wonder. The palace would be packed with his companions. Including the wise Calico who'd insisted on advising him.
Look, it's Molly.
His queen waited, holding his crown. There was only one thing left to do. Bend down his head. And the rest I think you know. Mrs. Finch, your son was a kind man who will be missed by all of us who knew him.
My brother was really cool. I wish you could have met him.
Whew. Yeah, that's another really difficult story. If you're struggling in the way Lewis was struggling, please remember that your life so drastically impacts the people around you in a more positive way than you'll ever realize. If you're ever getting to that point, please make sure you reach out and talk to people. Remember that you're loved. Yes, absolutely, Animal Dance Party time. Very critical right now. Please remember, though, that you're loved by more people than you realize. You impact more lives positively than you realize, and the world is 100% a better place because you're here. So, you know, if that ever comes to it, please reach out. Please talk to people. Here we go.
On the way back from Lewis's funeral, my mom told me to start packing. She waited until the day before we left to tell Edie. I'm not sure if she wanted to make it easier or harder. I wish we'd stayed.
See, we have Lewis's missing person flyers. Absolute piles of them.
But I understand why we left. What happened that night had been coming for a long time. Maybe it should have come sooner. But it had to end one way or another. All that's left now is to tell you about that last night. That whole last day, Edie just watched us pack and didn't say a word. Until supper, when she raised her glass and said,
"To our final night together, and all our final nights apart."
Grandma, you know what I said about alcohol. Some of your medications are very
Edith,
specific.
I left a present for you in the hallway. Why don't you go open it? The grown-ups have to argue now.
I'm sorry, you're right. We're all leaving tomorrow. Let's just enjoy our last...
I'm not leaving.
Edith, you're excused.
The power had been shut off that morning, but Edie always had plenty of candles. When my mom sealed the library, I don't think she knew about the other entrance. Or that Edie had a key to it.
That thing you're afraid of isn't going to end when you leave the house. Edith has a right to know these stories.
My children are dead because of your stories. I think it's best if Edith and I leave tonight. We'll have the nursing home send a van for you in the morning, okay?
Dear Edith, there's so many stories I wish I could tell you, but there's only time for one. This is about what happened on the night you were born. That night, the tide went way, way out. It was the first and last time I ever saw the old house aground. There'd been an earthquake out in the middle of the ocean. They called it the lowest tide in 1,000 years. God, it smelled awful. You know, I've seen that house every day of my life. But I never thought I'd go back to it. When the fog rolled in, I lost my way. I got turned around. I started seeing things. Things I'd forgotten had ever existed. But when I saw them, they felt like old friends. That night, things came back to me. Or maybe I came back to them. Things I can't explain, but that I need you to try and...
Edith, what are you doing in here?
It's mine.
Edith!
Mom, you're gonna rip it! Let go!
I kicked and screamed, but Mom dragged me to the car. I never saw Great-Grandma Edie again. The next morning, the van came to pick her up, but she was already gone. After that, we moved around a lot. We both tried to make the best of it. A few years went by. My mom didn't like to talk about it. But she started getting sick a lot. The rest happened pretty quickly. She got better for a while, and then she didn't. And then I was alone. The last Finch left alive. Until I found out about you. I'm still not sure what to tell you about all this. If we lived forever, maybe we'd have time to understand things. But as it is, I think the best we can do is try to open our eyes. And appreciate how strange and brief all of this is. This journal was supposed to be for you. But now I hope you'll never see it. I just want to meet you. And tell you all these stories myself. But I guess if you're reading this now, things didn't work out that way. This is where your story begins. I'm sorry I won't be there to see it. It's a lot to ask, but I don't want you to be sad that I'm gone. I want you to be amazed that any of us ever had a chance to be here at all. Good luck.
And that is what remains of Edith Finch. First, I'd like to thank you all for being on this journey with me. This game, like I've said a few times, is one that really had a lot of impact on me. I think it's an absolute incredible bit of storytelling. I plan on staying on for just a little bit afterwards and to talk with people about this if you need. Yeah, Jake, it is an absolutely wild game. There is so much beauty in this game, in that it was so sad and incredible all at the same time. Yeah, Raccoon, it really is. It is such a beautiful and incredible and sad game. And I think part of that is that it looks at something like life, which is so short and so fleeting and so fragile. And yet, it's so beautiful. in that we have the capacity to love and we have the capacity to connect with people, and we impact so many more people than we realize. And I think that that's what makes this game so beautiful, is it's looking at the fragility of life and through some absolute incredible storytelling. One thing I'm really curious about: what do you all think the curse is? I've seen a bunch of different interpretations. I know I have my own personal interpretation. Edie seemed very convinced that there was an actual family curse. Uh, Mom Dawn seemed like she thought Edie was the curse. I've seen some people who thought Edie was the one killing everyone in the family. Lots of different ways to interpret it. So I would love to hear from you all what you think this curse of the Finches is. Shaden, feel free to share those conspiracy theories. Feel free to share those conspiracy theories. I know this time, especially with the newer trainings I've had and the newer things I've been studying, I definitely have my personal theory of what the curse is. Anyone else who's still here, I would absolutely love to hear what you think too. Shaden says, I feel like Edie was obsessed with death and ended up killing a lot of people indirectly because of her morbidity. I think that that is... Well, I'm not going to say anything. Not yet. I would like to hear maybe from a couple other people, especially Raccoon King, who's still here, and I know probably has a lot of very strong feelings. Jake, I see you're still here. If anyone feels like sharing, I would love to hear from you before I share my own personal theory. As we look at like the developers and their families, try to decompress a little bit from what we've just been through. It's been quite the journey. It's been quite the journey. I hope everyone's okay after that. I know I definitely needed a box of tissues afterwards. That was quite the game. So I know personally, and since we'll see what if anyone comes up with something here in a bit. I think Shaden has a part of it down. I think that what we see is Edie as kind of the center of everything with his family. I think that we see a woman who was deeply traumatized and was exposed to a tremendous amount of death at critical junctures of her life that were probably incredibly painful for her. So I'm going to guess that she did have kind of a bit of a morbid obsession with death. Sorry while I switch back to being in the bunker for the chatting portion of things. I do think that she became fairly obsessed. I believe that it's hereditary paranoia, so it became a self-fulfilling prophecy. Oh, that's really interesting too, Raccoon King. I hadn't thought about a bit of a possible mental diagnosis in with it. Yeah, and kind of that generational thing. And so I do think that with Edie being so obsessed with death and talking about death, and you all saw she memorialized death before the house was built. Their family had a cemetery built. And so I do think that with her being so obsessed with death, she exposed her family to a lot of that. And I do think that it kind of became a bit of a generational curse, if you will. And not in the I'm going to pass on, this magical type curse to people, but it's the kind of curse where if you are so worried about the way you're going to die, it does become a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy. Or if you're worried we have this thing called confirmation bias, where if you're looking for something to happen, something will happen. And so I do think it became an issue of self-fulfilling prophecy, generational curse, and confirmation bias all kind of coming together for a family that understandably really did have a lot of really intense tragedy throughout their entire family history. As we saw, it didn't seem like anybody got to live to an older age outside of Edie and lived kind of what we would expect, kind of in a normal amount of time for a person, if that makes any sense. Well, I hope you all enjoyed it. I think that that game was. I'm hoping you all got a lot out of the story like I did. It's one where every time I play it, I feel like something hits me a little bit differently, or I discover some new bits of scenic storytelling. Uh, it really did change a lot about how I view games. Molly's is always a shock. Well, yeah, Shaden, I think part of what's brilliant about the way they tell Molly's story is that yes, other than the tentacle kraken bit of it, I think it's because the game, you don't know what you're expecting really going into it. You don't necessarily expect to be turning into a cat, an owl, a shark, a kraken, other various things as you're going, and it really does set the tone that you have no idea what to expect. So I do think that that is quite a shocking bit. And I know on occasion I will look at Shaden and just go, I will be delicious. Because that line is so haunting, and the voice acting in this game is absolutely incredible. Um, but I hope you all are doing all right. Hopefully this wasn't too rough. The last thing I'll say is that if there are other kind of short games that we can all experience together on this journey, I would love to be able to share them with you, so please don't hesitate to send me suggestions. If you're in the Discord, you can send me the Discord. If you are a lurker who's part of this and I have an idea of who you are, let me know that you would like an invitation to the Discord. Right now, we don't have the person power involved to have a whole lot of moderators. Ah, Shaden, yes, always lurking. And the fact that I also know that you're lurking just upstairs as well. Hopefully, the rest of you aren't currently. Raccoon King, I'm glad you found it amazing. Raccoon King, if you were upstairs, though, I'd come up and give you a hug. I'd be shocked because I know you're in the UK, but it's always good to have you around, friend. Um, yeah, if there's other stories like this that you would love to share, especially ones we can kind of do in one special stream, I would love to be able to share those experiences with you. So if you don't have access to the Discord, send me a whisper, send me just something to let me know, or a Discord message, whisper on here to let me know you'd like access to the Discord. We don't have the person power to heavily moderate it. Let me try to find someone for us to raid. You never know. I'll let you know. Oh, I like those messages immediately back to back. You never know. I'll let you know. Let's see here. What's something? I'm gonna try to find a bit of a smaller channel if that's all right with you. I love to raid other little channels to help them out too. Let's see what people have going on. You are apparently all knowing, and Raccoon King says, heck yeah. Let's see who's streaming what right now. None of the people I follow are currently on. Oh, this looks fun. I don't know who this person is, but they're playing Plants vs. Zombies, and that's a game that I do enjoy. So let me get a raid. Yeah, all right. Yeah, that's right. Thank you for the reminder, Raccoon King. When we get into that raid, I would love for everyone to yell duck and cover and drop some of those bomb emotes on them that we have here on the channel. Let's see about raiding. I'm not sure how small this channel is, but they've got 19 people watching. Let's see here. Oh, they're also a VTuber. I like that. Let's see here, and their name is. Let's see. Their name is also really fun. All right, we're going to go ahead. We're going to get this raid going. I don't know who this person is, so we will check it out. Let's start the raid. Remember to yell duck and cover, drop those bombs as we get going so we can hopefully surprise this person. Let's get going, everyone.